As you can see, pretty much I have pretty much let's say kind of like a book collection of pretty much of books I read pretty much recently, and let's see what is actually my opinion looked like as pretty much as a whole pretty much like book collection. Let's start with this book. This book is pretty much actually is named pretty much Spinoa by my former professor in college, Luis Rodrigues, which kind of coincidence. Actually, the author is actually was my teacher. Anyway, Spinoa, this man right here, was a very influential figure in Portugal history, contemporary Portugal history, pretty much from pretty much bringing democracy and pretty much and peace and pretty much a different Portugal after the Carnage Revolution that toppled Estado Novo regime. Which, since by the way, for those who don't know, I'm actually Portuguese, and this man really fascinated me because he really changed pretty much. Even he was a part of pretty much of change gamer like word breaker of pretty much of his own time. It's pretty much autobiography type of book. I read pretty much otherwise I won't make this video without of being biased, and pretty much this book is about him, about his wife, career. It's autobiography of video, and his wife. He was also a politician, a lieutenant general, and yeah, I actually kind of like him very much. I'm gonna put that on the side. And next we have this book, pretty much of my book how collection called Empire of Contingency, How Portugal Entered Indo-Persian War by Jorge Flores, also Portuguese author. So this book, as you can see, it's about it pretty much the relationship between pretty much the Portugal, pretty much India in 16th, 17th century, 17th century, and about pretty much the Indo-Persian War, like the other pretty much mostly Muslim dynasties, and for example, the relationships between Goa and pretty much and the other dynasties. Goa was part of Portuguese India from a long time, and pretty much is about relationships between kind of like my country, Portugal, and about Indo-Persian world, which was supported by other dynasties by the foreign powers. And it's about trades, about other descriptions of how interesting looked like. It's actually very interesting, and that's pretty much about it. I also like this book, and it was for someone who brought me, so very special, special. Next is one you guys pretty much gonna love it a lot. It's called, okay, it is translated, but I'm Portuguese, understand it, so I'm gonna translate it. Palestine Biography, Palestina Biografia, in translated in Portuguese by Hassid Kawidi. I read this book also from a very long time ago, and it's very touching, very real in terms that is very real right now, about pretty much unfortunately or sadly, pretty much the sad story of pretty much Palestine and being arrested by Israel. Which it's a very sad fan fiction, but it's real, and it's very touching. I also like this book because it's not only because it's very real, but it makes you feedback about Palestine pre modern times, and with of like other pretty much factos like facts, and pretty much, and it's very touching for those who actually like books that were real, that they've pretty much touching like mementos like this book Palestine, a biography. Well, I forgot to mention here 100 anos de guerra e resistência is translated 100 years of war and resistance. This book is for you. For those also pretty much also like pretty much real historical books that understand better the world we live in, then this book is the option. Then I actually have 10 minor books of history when I was a little teenager. This is actually not from a long time ago, it's from probably years. It's about, since I'm a passionate history fan, is pretty much I say in my YouTube channels, pretty much it is about history of war from people who are in a hurry by Emma Marriott, and it's about pretty much the last 1500 years in 200 pages. Also very neat. I actually like it. It's history, so since my person, I really like it. As you can see, pretty much is from Egypt. As you can see above, from modern times. Pretty much you can see pretty much, for example, there's actually as you can see pictures representing here pictures representing pretty much all different time spans of history, and it's very cool. Other similar is this one about different author, Nikwa Sultan and Meredith MacDowell, the history of 20th century from people in Rari. So we have seen first people in Rari from ancient times. This was more modern. So you can see Einstein, Gandhi, Muhammad Ali, and a World veteran, Elvis. Pretty much modern, pretty much figures. 20th century. Cars, Ford, Marilyn Monroe, and of course pretty much other figures, Mandela and pretty much and others. And it's about pretty much, if I like pretty much books about modern. These books, for example, are very important for those who want to read. Means pretty much if actually you want pretty much something to do, or pretty much like something like activity schedule, or pretty much but you want to read. This book is especially for you and the other. Except this one is more modern, pretty much. Finally, I have pretty much this book. It's a brief history of the world. Now this one is very different because it's borrowed pretty much, like I said, from the Big Bang, from the 21st century. Unlike the other two were specific, this one is global. And I also read it, and very interesting. But then again, I say very interesting because I'm a history buff, so yeah, that already sums it out. Anyways, if you're a fan of pretty much history, pretty much by Christopher Wasser, this book is for you. Last but not least, okay, I kinda don't count it, but since the book collection, man, it's about liberty. This is the biggest, let's say, pretty much my biggest, pretty much book collection. I really gonna wanna show you guys the top one. Liberty of Expression, or translated Liberdade de Expressão, by Timothy Garfon S. 10 Principles from Interconnected World. 10 princípios para um mundo interligado. Freedom, okay, I'm still pretty much, I'm nearly ending pretty much this book right now. I'm in last pages. Yes, I'm a fast reader, but then again, I am pretty much really a fast reader since I was very young. I'm almost out of books, and yeah, but these are my top ones to show you guys. And but this one's very special to me because of the way how can a book wobbled itself liberty, freedom of expression not being like special? It seems like it doesn't make any sense for me. So of course it's special. It's about the type of freedom of expression. Like the author here pretty much mentions freedom of expression in a digital way, and pretty much mentions enterprises of freedom speech, and pretty much sometimes in feedback, characteristics, concept, other examples. Like if you want to pretty much understand pretty much, and it's very crucial also. Books pretty much are sometimes like main tools to understand them to what we are reading to. It's not because of laser or because I'm gonna read this because I'm gonna read. Sometimes not really the answer. Sometimes the answer is I want to read a book because I want to understand the world. I want to be cultivated. I want to get knowledge, and books are best friends here. Especially when freedom of expression is a very topic that, unfortunately, for some top parts of world is not very well welcome, and it should be welcome in my opinion. And anyways, and that's pretty much for now.